light. Today we've had some of the most amazing light already. I've missed so much of it. I hate driving, you see, or rather I hate driving when I'm missing photos, and that's exactly what was happening earlier. I was driving earlier on in the morning for a meeting that I go to, and yeah, it was just not rays of sun, but the cloud opening up, sun coming through, illuminating the most amazing things, and yeah, moments later they were gone. And right now you can see, you know, there's some interesting colour up behind me, and indeed if I swizz you around, an interesting scene unfolding there as well. But the light is wonderful. It's, I mean, I'm getting kind of pelted in the face by the finest of mist, and it is truly lovely. But it's times like this where we really do get the best light, and they may not be the most agreeable weather to go out in sometimes. You know, you might get wet, God forbid, but heck, it's worth it. Weather like this is just so perfect. 10 minutes between the last shot and this, and look, blue sky, the light's really catching the cap of the mill up there. I've been working on trying to find a position on the mill that you can see. I hope you can see it's nestled between this big bush here and the telegraph pole over there. Long lens on, and I can get a framing of that. If I walk down this path here, I can get a framing of that between the tree you can see over there, and the telegraph pole. And I just about catch one of the guide lines on the telegraph pole, but I can probably either, if I've got to, I'll be able to clone that out and get a cleaner shot of it. It's nicely in the distance, but it's a good shot. And yeah, sometimes, I mean, it's just about happening now, you know, the light is really just being able to pick up on it. And these days when you've got such kind of weather fronts coming in and moving around, they're absolutely perfect. When we're working outdoors, we have to work with the light, don't we? And that's really what I want to talk about in this video. It's about taking your opportunities when you can. I'm really, really bad at it. I've been really bad this year in total. Last year I'd be getting out early mornings and such. This year I haven't been able to. I don't know. I know that I should, and I preach to you that you should. But I tend not to do it. But I was out already today, and I'd been somewhere, as I've already alluded to, and coming back I thought, well, you've got to give it a go, haven't you? I mean, you can't ignore situations like this. The light I saw earlier was fabulous. The light that I'm getting now is fabulous. I've had rain pour through here. I mean, when I got here, I suppose half an hour ago, over there yonder, you could not see the colours on the horizon. It was just fine mist rain, and I didn't have the camera out at the time. I wish I had, because it would have been one heck of a photograph. Missed it entirely. But hey, look, again, I'm in a good position. Can you see? You probably can't see the mill over there, but it's getting some light. And it's just underneath this tree. Not the greatest shot, but worth taking even so. Yeah, if I was on film, hey, no chance. But I'm not.
Over the last few weeks I've received a few messages asking about how I choose the final format of this. This is a 16:9, and it wasn't shot that way, but it was edited that way because there was just too much superfluous sky and superfluous foreground, and it just works better this way. You'll also notice that on the long focal lengths of these, there's a particular kind of diffusion. This isn't a facet of the lens, this is actually heat haze. I'm shooting over the distance of a mile or so, and it's quite prevalent. It was really quite warm that day, on and off.
And just look at it now. This weather is so changeable. I suppose, I don't know, what, half an hour or so. And yeah, it's the reason I've got my hat on now is because I want to keep the sun out of my eyes. The reason I had it on before is because I was getting wet. Yeah, it's weather like this is the perfect weather to get out and do any kind of landscape type photography, whether it's just looking across a flat area like this because that cloud base is gorgeous, or whether you're getting kind of intimate shots of things like these reeds and such here. You know, it's absolutely perfect. Get the opportunity, seize it, just take that opportunity immediately. Fly. Hey, but also be absolutely prepared to do this. I wasn't. My gimbal reported a little while ago that it had 20% power in it. I then started doing a time lapse of the cloud movement and everything over here, the way in which the landscape was changing over the course of 10 minutes or so, and then it died. So it's now in my backpack with a battery charger on it, hoping that I'll be able to take my hand off this wretched bloody phone very soon. And of course it's not just the phone that I take out of my hand, it's the fact that you end up with a more stable video. So I've seen another shot. It's in frame now. Can you see what I am thinking of shooting? Come on, 5, 4, you should be shouting right now at the screen. 3, 2, I've won already. Bastard got the back of my leg, that did. In relatively harsh light like this, the chances of me wanting to shoot some detail in this greenery and such here are really low, because it's just the light's just kind of wrong. It creates shadow and such, and if you're prepared to work with shadow, great, but the greens really kind of pick up that light and fluoresce. It's not the optimum time to take colour images of it. Black and white, yes, black and white can work really well, but again, it's knowing what to do. Black and white's a good idea. Sticking a polarizer on can really help, because often the light that is reflected off of these green leaves is polarized, so you can take a polarizer and really control that reflection and that highlighting. And similarly, one of the things I wouldn't be quite so keen on doing is shooting the mill kind of as it is right now, because the sun has at this moment a very harsh set of photons reaching it, and as we talk, it's going behind a cloud, so you can see how the details in the brickwork start to kind of change. And in a situation like this, yeah, I might be more interested in shooting it. And what a few seconds taking place, it's understanding how the light really can affect what it is you're shooting, and be prepared to wait. So about selecting the right kind of subject for the right kind of conditions, well, as I said, I can't tell you what works. I can tell you what's working here and what worked the last time I was in this location. So the last time in this location, believe it or not, this windmill was here, and indeed so was the other one way down there, which is just about a mile away. I didn't shoot the one that's a mile away. Why? Because there was no light on it, you could barely see it. I was concentrating on this one. But actually what I've been looking at more on this occasion that I've come here is the one that's over there, that's a mile away. Why? Because I can see it. because every now and again it gets some amazing light on it with some really interesting kind of background light and cloud and shade and shadow and all of these things. Yeah, you can stand here for 20 minutes and get all manner of different views onto it. And the one I'm working on right now, I've already shot one. I'm not sure the light was great. Hopefully I'll get a better one in a minute because that sun's coming up again. But it's to kind of use a blocking technique of shooting this mill here, blocking off one side of the frame and focusing very much on the mill that's in the distance. But let's talk about the choices for this shot. This shot is a relatively open aperture, f3.5, something like that, and focusing very much in the distance. Now, I don't really have the optimum kind of positions and such to get the kind of shot I want, because what I'd ideally want is to really be, let's turn this around, probably 20 foot that way, but there's wobbly, wet stuff over there. And the reason I say that is because what I'd really like to do is to get a really long shot which could include this structure, ensuring that the viewer knew what this structure was whilst focusing on the structure beyond. But given that the structure beyond is such a long way away, I'd have to do that with a long lens. And by using a long lens a little way that way, I compress the image as well. So I managed to pull the distant subject a little bit closer. Yeah, it closes that gap up. But by using a wide open aperture, whilst doing that, it will throw the mill behind me into soft focus, or really, perhaps even really soft focus. I can't do that because, as I said, there's wet, wobbly stuff in the way. But actually, I have found a position, although I'm not going to pretend this is easy, because this is falling down rather here. But if I can come back at this kind of position here, I've got a view of the mill in the distance, and I've got this mill here. The light's not great on it. I've got more light on this mill than I have on the other. I can get far enough away and get the window on the mill here in the shot, making it very obvious what it is that I'm framing and blocking with. But now I've got to wait until the light's right, so that this one is darker and that one is lighter. It's a waiting game. And why have I got to do that? Because if this one's lighter, all eyes are going to be on this one. And despite the fact it's out of focus. Yeah, that's better. That's better. The light down there's better. Really fluorescing now. So fleeting though. That was at 90mm f3.5. But here's harsh light again, but I'm not shooting in harsh light. I have found a shaded area down here, and what I'm shooting might probably remain in colour is just some wonderful water droplets on a reed. Open aperture, so I minimise depth of field, focusing on the droplets in bright sun, as you can see, but in a shady area.
All of the images in this video have been edited using DxO Photolab 8 and a selection of Nik Collection tools. You can download completely free, no credit card required, trials for 30 days of any of the DxO software. There are links down below. I do highly recommend them, particularly if you're trying to de-Adobe your workflow.
So what you'll have noticed during this walk out is that I've shot two very distinctly different types of shot. There's a big kind of shot of everything around me, and the kind of really small, more intimate scenes. So what are the similarities between these two things? Well, it's quite simple. It's the fact that light is working to attract my attention to it. It's nothing more than that. It's I see these things because they're catching the light, or I see these things because there's elements of it that are dark and there's elements of it that are light, and those contrasts attract my attention. And that's what you need to do. You need to ensure that you've always got your eye out. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, as I was driving out earlier on, the sky was a lot kind of angrier than this, and every now and again the sun came out and it picked up interesting things on the horizon or on the landscape. This time of year, lots of bales of hay and such, so dark sky behind, light coming out, picking them up. You see these things, and what you need as a photographer is the ability to be able to not only see them but identify them, and that's the crucial thing. It's identifying. Just simply turning and saying, well, that looks nice isn't enough. It's saying that looks nice because the light is on it, the way the light's hitting that, the contrast, all of these things need to be instant in your head, and you'll get there. You might not always be able to capitalize on them. That's a different thing. But the starting point is always seeing these things. Learn to see.